Welcome back to the worm, folks. You made it. I've been waiting for you. Gosh, I've been waiting. So, I got all these fun projects I want to do, but one of the things I got to take care of right away is I got a tractor up here at camp that I need to get out. I've been waiting for the roads to dry up enough. They're so freaking muddy, and we haven't had rain in like a week and a half, so they're almost getting to the point where I could probably get it out of here. However, there's no sense getting it out of here if I can't use it to scoop gravel and put it in the trailer and bring the trailer back, put it on the muddy roads, fill in the ruts and stuff. I have the trailer, but it's got no bottom in it. You guys saw in a previous video, I just used some scrap wood that I had milled up laying around here just as a mud brake for that thing, because I was pulling this thing behind the four-wheeler down the roads and all my crap inside was getting covered in mud. So now I want to fill this up with gravel. I'm going to mill up some lumber just to do the bottom of this, and then box around here, probably just up to there is enough. That would be several 100 pounds of gravel. It's plenty if I could fill it up that high. So I don't have any lumber milled up, and I've got a couple nice logs laying around here that I don't want to use for a junk project like this. So you guys saw in another video where I cut down a whole bunch of these aspens that I consider junk trees. They're not really good for much of anything, and for the most part I just chopped it up into firewood, and I've been burning it for weeks just to try to get rid of it. I've got one tree that I cut down and got hung up, and there's no easy way for me to get it down. It's really hung up. It's not really in the way, so I haven't worried about it too much, but it happens to be one of the dozen I cut down that's not really rotted on the inside. So you can see it's just really jammed up on that end. Big branches and big branches. There's no way. I tried dragging it down, but there wasn't even a chance with the four-wheeler. This stuff's certainly going to crack and fall apart in the boards and everything, but if they're inside the trailer and they're just getting gravel dumped on it, I don't really care. And this thing's pretty big. This is a good 12-inch plus tree. So I'm going to see if I can at least cut it up as high as I can reach, get that to fall down, and I'll just take that one log, drag it over to the sawhorses, and mill it up. And the really exciting thing is that I have a new toy, something I saw online that I wanted to buy, and I don't think they even sell them in this country, probably because they're too dangerous or something. I don't know. So I went into a welder and showed him what I wanted, and we built this contraption. And I brought it back a couple weeks ago, and I stuck it in the lean-to and just kind of forgot about it. I wasn't milling or moving logs or anything, so it just sat there. And then yesterday I was like, I haven't even tried that thing out, and it freaking works. So these logs, these aspens, are so heavy. They're on a log like that. If I cut it 10 feet long, I can't pick it up. Can't pick up an end of it, let alone pick it up and get it on top of the sawhorses. So I'm going to cut a chunk out of this as long as I need to make boards for that trailer. I'm going to drag it over there, and I'll show you the new contraption so I can lift it with ease. Basically just throw it onto the sawhorses. It's going to be really fun to use. Let's see, the trailer's 5 feet long. So either make 5-foot or 10-foot logs. There's no sense in doing a 5-foot log. So we'll do 10. That would make 2 boards. Make a little extra. Plus that end has got a wedge cut out of it. So let's go 11 feet. Man, that is going to be the heaviest stinking log. I hope my contraption works. I don't even know if I can reach. I can't even reach it. 11 feet right there. Huh. Yeah, I can cut that. Oh my goodness, that is a heavy one. Heavy compared to the cedar that I usually mill. And that bark is tough. Perfect setup. Yeah, baby. Check this monster out. Oh, it's barely on there. Might fall off and break the sawhorse. It's gonna take a while to learn how to aim this thing, but I couldn't have lifted that on my own. Oh my God, it's so heavy. Oh, man. Whew. Huh. As I was going up, since this is kind of on a slanted hill of sawdust, the log kind of slid backwards, so it's barely on there, and that's actually so heavy that I can't budge it by myself. So I'm gonna have to get a little tricky somehow. Try to think of some way to do this. I think actually I could probably use that and the four-wheeler. I just need to winch it up like 3 inches or so it sits on there, and then I can use the lifter for that end. So let's see if this works. All I needed was that little extra pull. That's as strong as the brakes are on there. It's starting to move the four-wheeler. Oh yeah, it makes it feel really strong. Kidneys. Just struck me that the other possibility is you can't buy these anymore because they didn't work. Looking at this, I don't think it'll lift it up that high. And you couldn't put the winch up any higher, you wouldn't be able to crank it. Maybe it was a bad product. Well, we'll find out right now. I mean, it is astounding. That's got to weigh several hundred pounds. At least a couple hundred. I mean, I can't lift one end of it. Of course, you're not like, it's not like you got a handle to pick it up or anything. But this thing picks it up like nothing. Holy Moses. It worked. Well, got some bugs to work out, so to speak, but this mill was either, or this log was either unmillable or I'd had to mill it on the ground. I think in the future, if you saw the Skydeck video, made those little yo-yo looking things, those would be great, or make some real short kind of sawhorses that I can just crank this up and stick the sawhorse underneath and drop it instead of bringing it all the way back here. I just don't like milling on the ground, like sitting, kneeling the whole time and leaning over and milling for hours and hours is no fun. Anyway, let's mill this sucker up. slick and snotty wood. Huh. I haven't milled many of these before. That's a completely different ball of wood, so to speak, than cedar. Cedar just peels so much differently. It's not bad though. Smells delicious. Smells like melon or something, like the inside of a honeydew. Huh. Guess I know what dinner is. I get the real log peeler out. Tito showed me this in my buddy Tito that you know from the early videos. Saw this in a catalog or something. I was like, that is the coolest knife I have ever seen in my life. And he bought it for me. If you're an urbanite, this looks like some kind of killing machine, but out here, just to have something long and really, really thick like that you can't break. It's called a BK9. I don't really know how to do it, but if I can find them online, maybe I'll put a link in the description if anybody wants to find this stuff. Also, I've had people ask me about helmets and tools and all sorts of stuff, and I just say, I don't know, Google it, see what you can find. But if I ever get around to it, maybe I'll see if I can put links in the descriptions if you guys are interested in any of this stuff. I won't put links for anything that I don't think is fantastic, because I don't want to just give companies the traffic to buy junk that's no good. But that is a log peeling machine right there. Seriously, I think this thing's as strong as a crowbar. Oh, it is weird burl starting. That is weird stuff. It's a cool looking log. Once you get all the bark off of there, there's a lot of strangeness going on. You never know what you'll find when you peel one of these guys. If you're new to this channel, the answer to your next question is I made them. These. Probably the most, jeez oh Pete's. The most common question I get is, where do you get the end plates? They're just steel, cut up with an angle grinder. Pretty quick and easy to make. Too hungry, 7:30. The bugs are getting really annoying. Have some dinner, take a shower. Pick this up tomorrow, eh? It's a new day and I'm fed. Oh, forgot to put my boots on. I hate when it happens. Don't want shoes full of sawdust. Don't you worry, my socks have been saved. Wow, that was some slow cutting stuff. Huh. Probably only make as much as I need for the trailer and leave the rest of the log sitting here for later. No sense in milling it up in a different thickness that I might not need later either. At least that's my excuse to not do it now. Kind of cool looking stuff. Very white. Very, look at that. I don't know if you can tell in the shadow. It's like almost perfectly white. These are some weird like knots or inclusions or something. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's a bark inclusion too or what. I'm curious to see what it'll look like. I'm just going to run the planer over it real quick and see if it pretties it up. I mean, I won't use it for anything, but just for curiosity's sake. It's got some pretty stuff in it. It is such a strange wood though. It's like downy or something, the bits that peel off. Anyway, it'll be great for the bottom of a trailer. Yeah, look at the dust that comes off of here. It's like powder. That's the most trouble I've ever had milling one board. Check this out. I've never had that happen before, but it felt so dull that I was trying to run the saw at an angle, because, you know, cutting through the log like this is really easy. Cutting through it like this is even not too bad. You get these long, thin shreds out of it, but cutting it like you do on a mill this way is about the hardest way to cut a log. So sometimes if you turn the bar at an angle like that, you can get through it, but I was really having to push on it, and I looked over and it dove. It was pulling the bar all the way down, which I've never seen that happen before, and I had to back all the way up and do it again. But also, look at the weird tension in this log. How much it shifted over. That's just like the weird internal stresses that the whole top of it's moved over. Now the problem is I can't mill the next board because of this, because the mill has to run over the top of that log just like it did on this one, except we got a bad cut. So I have to put the plate back on there, which means it'll come down to like here, and then I'll have to mill underneath it. So this whole chunk of log here is just going to be waste. This is the thing I say I like about this mill, is if you stop halfway through a board, if you want to take your saw out, you can just take the whole thing and slide it out of here. If you have a bigger mill, then the end of the bar is clamped in too, so you'd have to unclamp that, or you just have to feed it all the way back out of there. But it's also only 2 bolts to loosen. If you want to switch the chain, you can just pull the saw right out. It's also easier, I guess you could do this with either mill, but if you leave it here when you put the saw back in and you're halfway through the cut, you can just feed the saw right back into through the mill and into your cut, and it holds it there where you clamp it back on. It's kind of nice, rather than otherwise when you put it back in you got to try to hold it like this with one person and feed it back in and get it in place. It's just a little tip, that's all. Take it easy. Decided to try a full chisel chain, sharpened down to 0 degrees, flat across, just to see. That's the most different chain I have to try on this stuff. Good enough to shovel gravel onto, I guess. Oh, it's heavy. It looks nice. It's actually quite pretty. There's a spot where the saw dove for whatever reason. Oh, looks like something got bent. I don't know what's going on. Maybe that bent the bar. And if you can see that, how close it was to hitting the plate there, and there's like a 1/4 inch gap there. What's really happening is the gods don't want me to screw with this kind of wood anymore. That's the reason I called it junk wood. Yep, it tweaked just enough. It actually kind of bowed out the channel in here just a tiny bit, which I would still use it, and maybe still will use it just to cut lumber, cut logs up. But for milling, if it's tweaked just the tiniest bit over the course of 15 inches, you're going to end up with every board you make is a disaster. Nothing will stack together right. So it's the one downside of living out here. I just made a phone call. It's 2 hours to get a new bar, so luckily they got one in stock. And take this opportunity to say thank you to the Patreon patrons. You guys are keeping this show going. It really means a lot. And now if one of you guys would just do the driving for me, that'd be great. I'll do it. Look at that. That's what they look like when they're new. It's almost too pretty to use. Ah, what the heck. Let's just use it anyway. Very interesting. Cuts great now. A lot smoother, a lot more power. Must have been when the bar bent a little bit that the channel got squished together in some spot or something. I don't know. Well, that's fantastic news. What a difference. That is actually kind of gorgeous. I mean, once it dries out, it won't stay like that. What's that? Put it at the bottom of the trailer and dump gravel on it? Okay. That'll do it. That took a long time just to chop up one log. Might as well just haul all these over here and rip the sides off of them. I know what you're thinking, Ryan. You just finally turned over a leaf and finished something prettily, and now you're gonna pound holes into that beautiful table? Yep. And it's like high 60s today, and I feel like I'm friggin' melting. I'm not used to the sun or anything warm except for my morning coffee. Feels like I'm living in sin out here or something. Well, I guess it's a good thing I put that board on the bottom. Already broken. That's all right. We'll just jam them in there. Woo. Which reminds me, And you're thinking, what reminds you of what? This reminds me I was going to make a giant teeter-totter out here. Some kind of steps going up to it so you can make it really high and really giant. At some point, not right now. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to finish this, I promise. Question is, am I trying to convince you or myself? I'm using a circular saw. What the heck? Why not? In that case, I guess I'll cut that broken side off. I was grabbing the grain in the board and pushing my pencil all over the place, if you know what I mean. That is a tight fit. Really tight. It's gonna need some persuading. I hope the gate goes in because that's not coming out now. Yeah, nice. Well, the only other piece that's not severely cracked is this guy. Look at the weird shape of that. Hey, that fits all right. Yeah, not bad. 27¼ by 8, don't forget. Guess my mind went soft for a second. There's another board over there. I guess I thought it was a cutoff or something. This is better than all the rest I just used. What was it? 27¼ by 8? Anybody know why this thing doesn't run or start right when it's warm out? It's works every time all winter long, and then it gets a little bit warmer and run it, let it sit for 5 minutes, hard to start. Doesn't have power for 10-15 seconds. If you got any ideas, let me know in the comments. It'd be awesome. Find my table holes there. See? Weird. 27¼ You guys don't tell me anything. If you yelled a little louder, I could probably trust you. 27¼ I guess we don't have to worry about the 8. Just leave the live edge on there. Perfect. Put a couple screws and washers through the outside of the mesh. Be all set. See what I can find in the pit. That'll work. Perfect. I want to be able to take those on and off when I need to, so a couple of screws, no big deal. Perfect. Hey, that's not half bad. That's gonna gravel up nicely. And that's how you make a trailer from a tree. And that was almost some work, really. Had a few things go slightly wrong, but that's all right. Here are the sandhill cranes. They sound like dinosaurs flying around. Well, fortunately, unfortunately, this means I gotta build a bridge and haul a bunch of gravel. The bridge will be fun, the gravel, not so much at all. But for now, I'm gonna work on my slingshot, exercise band slingshot bowling until it's time for some food and shower. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like if you like, you know, all that stuff. See ya.